suggestions of stop it when I ask politely.
Because you're not the complete boss of me. I control my body, I control what I do, and you don't have the right to hit me that hard. I lightly tapped your arm with my elbow. Stop, let me talk. I lightly tapped your arm with my elbow to get your attention. Bam, right in my arm. It actually left a mark for about 20 minutes. About 20 minutes later, it was finally faded.
Backing up, you said you're not the boss of me. I am the boss of you. When a mother says to be quiet, she's the boss of you, and you need to listen to that. Bottom line,
I never said...
when a teacher says something, she's the boss of you, and you need to listen.
Shut up! Give me a turn to speak! Fine, see? You do that to me. How does it feel? How does it feel to be told to shut up?
We've talked about it.
Let me speak. How does that feel?
not.
How does that feel?
Do not put your hands on me. Do you understand me?
Do you understand me?
No, I asked you a question.
You know what? Shut up! Apparently that's the only word that gets your attention. How does that make you feel?
And he raised his hand and slapped me across the face. That absolutely surprised me.
I did lightly slap her on the cheek to show her how that feels. So I hope that made her think about what she does.
What you got? She ain't got no gun in there. Yeah, what you pulling out? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. No, Grandma, hold on. Wait, hold on, wait. You can't have a kid. You can't have a kid. You can have the candy. Yeah, just don't put the pistol away. Put the pistol away, Grandma.
Officers find 3 women shot. One of them is Hyunjung Grant.
She was quite literally the only thing that kept us running, calling every night to check up on us before she goes to bed, working for however long as she needed to.
As officers are tending to the dying victims, they're alerted to another shooting directly across the street at the 24-hour aromatherapy spa.
Some ladies got hurt, I think, and everybody's scared, so they're hiding in the behind. But the ladies passed out.
Inside, they find a Korean woman dead from a gunshot wound. The victims from the second and third shootings are Sun Jung Park, age 74, Sun Ja Kim, age 69, and Young Ah-yu, age 63. There's so much we still don't know about many of these victims, their identities obscured, in part because of the complicated and highly racialized, even dangerous reality for some Asian women in America.
So we need to make sure if we have any Asian spies, we need to be checking on them.
Long's parents have also told authorities their son has a tracker app on his cell phone, and it's activated. Authorities locate Long traveling south on Interstate 75, disable his vehicle, arrest him.
He apparently has an issue, what he considers a sex addiction, and sees these locations as something that allows him to go to these places, and it's a temptation for him that he wanted to eliminate.
It's the biggest mass shooting this country has seen since 2019, coming in the midst of an enormous spike in crimes against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. This week alone, an 83-year-old Asian man assaulted, parts of his neck fractured, a 59-year-old Asian man beaten, nearly blinded in one eye, and a 76-year-old Asian woman punched in the eye, left bleeding.
For over a year, Asian Americans have been fighting an additional virus of hate and bigotry. Our community is bleeding. We are in pain, and for the last year, we've been screaming out for help.
The fear in the Asian community, especially in Atlanta, now at crisis levels.
How's it going?
Irene Pan owns a spa just a few minutes away from where the shooting took place.
When the sheriff's office said, oh, it's not race, it's just sex addiction.
I really don't think so.
She says her employees just want a better life for their families.
Buying the house, having their own car, more freedoms.
So what did you call that?
What do I call that? So American dreams.
But those dreams now clouded with fear.
Personally, we just don't want this happen again. My worker is kind of concerned to come to work right now. Some people is crazy. I mean, they come Did we not say anything or argument? Just shoot you.
She's now considering buying a gun for protection. For Jamie Webb, whose mother, Xiao Jie Tan, who owned Young's Asian Massage, the pain is more powerful than the fear.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. What does your heart feel like right now?
Empty. She never finished high school. And she, like, when I told her that I decided to go to college, she was so happy. She just wanted to celebrate because she's very proud of it.
You were the embodiment of your mother's dreams.
Yes.
When you saw this unfold, what went through your mind?
My first thought was for Jamie, a life-changing experience for both of us. The last couple of years, she would say, you know, I'm going to be able to retire soon.
How do you want your mom to be remembered?
She's a great mother. She wants us to have a good life. That's why she worked so hard.
Your mom would be very proud of you.
Yes.
And I know she was. And for more on the investigation and the search for a motive, here's ABC's Steve Osunsami.
This is what heartbreak looks like across America. The strangers who are joining the families of victims to cry.
No hate, no fear.
This is also what it looks like to stand against hate. People of all colors speaking up and marching out for Asian Americans who feel under attack. In all, 8 people were gunned down in this killing spree. And the number one question for the accused murderer, why?
The suspect did take responsibility for the shootings.
Investigators say that 21-year-old Robert Aaron Long told them he struggled with a sex addiction and that somehow in his mind he thought he'd fix himself by targeting the 24-hour spas where he was a regular. The gun police say he used? They say he bought it here on the day of the shooting. And if they hadn't stopped him, they think he would have made it to Florida.
It is very likely that there would have been more victims.
Authorities in Atlanta's suburbs and the city have now charged him with 8 counts of murder. Rodney Bryant is the interim police chief in Atlanta, where the killing spread between 2 spas.
I think that people thought that it was all wrapped up once we made the arrest, but now this is where the real work begins.
What do you think about the chances of this becoming a hate crimes case?
It's just too early for me to make that determination because there's so many questions that are left unanswered. You have to look at the victims that we had in the city of Atlanta. All of our victims were female. All of our victims were Asian. There's so much more that needs to be uncovered.
The tone is slightly different in the suburbs, where the first 4 victims died and where the accused killer is in custody.
This is still early, but he does claim that it was not racially motivated.
The sheriff's office in the suburbs is having to defend itself after their spokesperson came across to some as racially insensitive, saying this about the accused gunman.
He was pretty much fed up at the end of his rope, and yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
After that, it was a bad day for the sheriff, who removed this police captain from briefings on the case. It didn't help when people discovered this now deleted Facebook post by the same captain, telling his friends to buy T-shirts that say COVID-19 imported virus from China. It's the same type of message against Asians that people in the streets are trying to fight. Here in Atlanta, authorities say they get it, and there's lots of work to do.
It frightens Asian Americans, not just here but across the country. I mean, people are scared.
We recognize the concern and the pain that they're going through. We're here to make sure that this doesn't fall through the crack, that we not miss one stone as it relates to investigating this case.
I really need somewhere else to stay.
Whoa, 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 that is not even almost okay.